All right, ready, guys?
I was born ready.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Karina.
I'm E-Ride.
And I'm Jennifer. And JWoww.
And J. Lowenstein.
Mm-hmm.
And Vitamin E.
And E-Talk.
And E-Talk. Those are my gangster rap names. Thank you.
Okay. Well, this week, all the stories involved embarrassing stories or being embarrassed, and I gave it a funny spin-off to this.
All right.
Are you ready?
I am. I'm looking forward to it. Did you see? This is real. I have a dad joke. I'll do it later.
Okay.
Did you see though? This is because on today's topics, that there is a school district in Arkansas that is now punishing children for not taking their naps or falling asleep. They're being cited for refusing arrest. Thank you. Bam.
Have you realized?
I win.
It's been really cold lately, right? Like especially like in the like other places. It was so cold in Washington D.C. that a politician actually had his hands in his own pockets this time. You didn't even. That was funny. Exactly.
That was so weak. Compared to mine. That was so weak.
Okay, I have another one. Do you want another one?
No, you can't do
Yes,
3 and then be like, okay, I won. No,
I won.
1 against 1. I already won. So it doesn't, you could do 20 more. It doesn't matter. But go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. A woman gets on a bus with her baby. The driver says,
"Did you just have to look it up?"
No, I have it. I had it already.
Okay, I thought you were like looking it up. Like, oh damn, I need to find something. I need to like you're like scrolling on Google Fast to try to find.
I was putting my phone on not disturb so it doesn't like ring.
No, you were looking for a better.
The
dad
joke is on here.
Okay, I'm just joking. All right, go ahead.
A woman gets on the bus with her baby. The driver says, "That's the ugliest baby I've ever seen." The woman goes to the back of the bus, sits down, and she's angry. She says to the man next to her, "The driver just insulted me." And the man says, "You go up there and give him a piece of your mind. Go ahead. I'll hold your little monkey for you." He's still not laughing.
No, it's a little cringy. I will tell you that there are people in this world that have this sort of outlook that all babies are beautiful.
No.
I'm not one of them.
No.
I don't remember where we were, but we saw the ugliest fucking kid. It was so bad. I'm serious. It looked legit like recently birthed alien.
No, kids are ugly.
The head had like all the veins showing. They were bald and these big bug eyes. No, but this baby was out in public, like in a stroller, and this baby needed to be put down. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, so bad. Really, legit. Like I thought it was like part space alien.
No, I just saw one too. Some girl posted, and I followed her, and her baby was so ugly. Like the eyes are like bulging out, and I'm like, ew! Like, why are you posting your baby like that? Let it inflate a little bit. It's obviously still deflated. Like, let it inflate. It's okay.
It's so good. I know you're. Just don't be a mom. Like, let your baby inflate. Oh my god!
You do. If I had a kid, I wouldn't post my child on social media at least 6 months. That's when they kind of start looking more like human-y.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna give you that one. Yeah. Fair point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
You have a dad joke too, right?
I I'm just not gonna get in on this competition because it's already.
Because it's a losing battle.
Sure. I've won a couple times.
No.
Yes.
No. Seriously. Just like Reddit's never right, and you've never won the dad joke contest. Not yet. I mean, you may one day.
I have won.
You know when you're going to win? I hate to say this. When the day comes that I'm sick and you have a guest host come in.
Wow.
And it's not me, you may win.
Wow.
Then. Guest host.
Or whatever. Just, Well, we're going to try to stick to our commitment of putting one out every week at least, maybe even a little bit more than that when we can. So I don't want to give a week away. Like even today, like I'm a little under the weather, but not, but I'm going to grin and bear it, right? I'm going to brave the cold weather and the scratchy throat, and we're going to put out a quasi-quality podcast.
There you go.
Right. And I've got my hot French vanilla coffee that I can sip on. Oh, before we get into the topics, did you download the Insomnia Cookies app? They have an app.
Yeah.
You told me. Yeah, you told me.
I have it.
Okay, because we should get our cookie order. Just saying, it's important. And I honestly, at this point, I don't care if Insomnia sponsors us or not. I mean, I love their cookies, but fuck them as a company.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead. We can get started. All right.
Well, if I'm an order, I can't read and order at the same time.
I will order. All right. Maybe we'll wait till after.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was like, okay. First story. So before I start, I'm doing one that's like legal advice from that Reddit and then I'm doing another one that's just Am I the Asshole story.
Okay, so it's a combo. What would Eric do? And am I the asshole?
Mhm.
All right, hit me.
First one is just what would Eric do? I was fired today for an accident and I'm totally embarrassed. This happened in California.
What kind of accident?
She'll tell you. She'll tell you.
Was it a bathroom accident?
No.
Okay, because
No.
that be like, I'm just saying, no offense, but if somebody here in the office like had that kind of accident, I'd fire them too, probably. Just kidding. No, I wouldn't. That'd be discriminatory. Just kidding. All right, go ahead.
I have been with this company for a few years now, and I've developed a new program for them. I have brought in many new clients and revenue for this business. For the most part, I am well liked by my clients, and some have even encouraged me to start my own endeavor. Many of them have even said they would gladly follow me wherever I go. Well, about 2 months ago, my husband and I finally decided to take the leap and start our own business.
What's a woman?
Yeah.
Oh,
We've
what kind of
been-
clients are these?
We've been approved by the IRS. We have our EIN number and are ready to rock and roll. I gave my current employer a 2-month notice because I wanted to finish off the current project I'm working on.
She really right? We're ready to rock and roll.
She did.
I already don't like her. But go ahead.
And it was rock in with the apostrophe.
Yeah,
girl.
I know.
Mhm.
That's so douchey. Okay, go ahead.
She made it clear to me that I could not solicit for my new business on company time, which I haven't, and honestly, I don't need to. But after that conversation, her demeanor towards me completely changed. I started being shadowed by my tentative replacement, and my boss is always looking over my shoulder. Today, I got a phone call from my boss and the company lawyer. The lawyer explained to me that a lewd video of me has been uploaded to the Google Drive, and I was being fired immediately. My husband and I have taken videos like that before, but it must have accidentally uploaded when my phone was paired to the Google Drive. I have no idea how. I kept saying how embarrassed I was and how sorry I was. All my boss said was, "Yeah, I know." And I was silent the rest of the phone call. Towards the end, the lawyer said, "And if you're thinking of applying for unemployment, good luck." And that was the whole conversation. Keep in mind, my boss and myself are the only two people who can even access that Google Drive. So she would have been the only person to see that video. Also, she knows it was uploaded entirely by accident. I feel like she just wanted a reason to get rid of me, to stop stealing her clients. I'm scared about what this will do to my reputation and my new business. What if she shares the video or the fact that it was even uploaded? I am also confused if I can't really apply for unemployment or not. Can anyone out there please advise?
This is California?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would Eric do?
Mhm.
Well, first, let me respond to some of this. Okay.
Mhm.
I want to say I'm not an employment lawyer.
Yeah.
Some of this, I think, is general knowledge. And
Mhm.
I apologize in advance if I don't sound as loud or strong today, because I really am fighting some
Yeah,
kind of cough or whatever. Number one, the accidental upload, it's hard to understand how that can happen. I think you have to actually take some steps before. I know that things are auto backed up, but that, it would be odd that she would have private videos on a device that backs up to her company's cloud or server.
She said she thinks when her phone was connected, it might have.
Possibly,
Yeah.
but whatever.
Yeah.
But let's assume just for a second that's all true.
Mm-hmm.
Those are still grounds to terminate. Her boss saw this sex tape, I'm assuming. I'm
Mhm.
guessing that's what it is.
Yeah.
Clearly her boss is also a female. That's not the kind of things that should be uploaded to a
Yeah.
company server or cloud or device. Yes, I understand it was an accident, right? But I don't think that they didn't have grounds to fire her. The unemployment question, I think, is what we call in the legal world a wobbler. I think it go either way.
Mm-hmm.
I think legitimately, if it's a mistake and it was an accident, but here's the big question. I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't remember if she mentioned this or not. Is the phone her private phone or a company phone?
Let me see.
And the reason I'm asking is this while you're looking. If it was her private phone and there was some kind of mishap, like she connected her private phone to her computer, let's say to charge it, right? Because some people do that. They plug their phones
No, I
in.
think it's her personal one, and it's the company's Google Drive.
No, I understand the Google Drive part. What I'm saying is the phone itself, right? The device that
It's her
held the
personal-
video.
yeah.
So if it's her personal phone and it was just connected
Mhm.
by the Wi-Fi or whatever, I think she might have a better chance of being approved for unemployment on the accident theory.
Yeah.
If this were a company phone,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely not. She
Yeah,
would be right
of
to
course.
be denied
Mm-hmm.
because she already misused company property.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see all that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not she thinks they did this just because they think she's stealing clients, I'm not buying that because
Yeah.
she put in her notice already and
Yeah.
they already knew she's leaving and they've been watching her and shadowing her. They didn't need an extra excuse. She's on
Yeah.
her way out.
Yeah.
They were probably looking for what?
But why? That's only going to open them up to liability, right? That could potentially cost them unemployment because if somebody resigns, they don't get unemployment, right? Only if they're terminated, right? But if they voluntarily leave a job, there is no unemployment. So she was already on her way out. She already gave notice. And her replacement, from what I understood, is basically shadowing her and watching her. So I think it's a righteous firing. I think the timing is weird. It could be considered suspect, but
I think it's just the
Well-
embarrassment part, like she said, like it could ruin her reputation.
I don't believe that they're going to disclose that.
Because that's what she was scared of. She said, like, what if
Yeah,
she like, shows
I think that she could maybe get an attorney that could potentially negotiate some kind of confidentiality and
Mhm.
separation agreement, and maybe she could say like, I won't sue and I won't, file for
Mhm.
unemployment.
hmm
If you agree to never discuss
Yeah.
this again, never release it, return the file to me if they have whatever.
Yeah.
I honestly though, I don't think it's likely, especially if the only two people with access were her and her ex-boss.
hmm
I think they're just going to delete it off their server and move on. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Right? What would Eric would do if I were the owner of the company and somebody accidentally like uploaded their private sex tape onto an
Yeah.
office server? I mean, I'd watch it, but then after, well, I mean, there's natural curiosity. Okay. It's not like
I'm not supposed to admit that.
I'm just saying, okay, we have like 6 employees. I'm not worried that somebody's going to accidentally upload.
Yeah.
And one of our 6 employees, I'm pretty sure doesn't have a tape.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just saying, I'm not super worried about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do. She
Okay.
could maybe get a lawyer to negotiate confidentiality.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're right about their clients being proprietary to them.
Mhm.
And if a client voluntarily decides to follow,
Mhm.
that's up to them. But if she even solicited a tiny bit,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
could open her up to liability, interference with trade practices or existing business relationship,
hmm
trade secrets. It could be all sorts of problems. So what would Eric do? Eric would take his lumps, deal with the embarrassment. Maybe if she has money, it's worth spending 2 hours with a lawyer just to have him
Yeah.
draft some kind of letter. That might go a long way.
Mhm. Jennifer, thoughts?
Don't make sex tapes. Just don't. It never ends well.
Yeah.
Never. It always gets in the wrong hands.
hmm
Yeah. Not worth it.
Like I said, I don't think that her boss was going to do anything with that tape or tell people about it. So I just feel like she should just move on. Her own company starting up anyway, so I feel like she'll be all right. So
Hope so.
If not, she can go into a different kind of business.
that's true. That's true. That is true. So
So I honestly thought at first that was something like involved with that, like just because it's like my clients all love me and whatever. Like, okay, well, that's what I thought. Like maybe she just like worked in a brothel or something.
there's a story in here about something like that. But
All right, I guess. Sorry, so I'll have to wait for it.
all right, next one. Am I the asshole for laughing hysterically after my husband called me housewife and embarrassed him in front of his coworkers? My husband invited his new coworkers over for dinner. When they arrived, he introduced me by gesturing over at me and saying, "This is Mrs. Smith, the housewife." I looked at him for a second and then I started laughing hysterically. I said, "No, honey, I work full time. And yes, I still act like the housewife when I'm home because you simply can't bother to help." His coworkers were staring at him and he tried to laugh it off and change the subject, asking them what they wanted to drink. Dinner was super awkward with him giving me looks and stares. Once the guests left, he blew up saying I embarrassed him by laughing like a lunatic and then making the comment I made in front of his new coworkers and ruining his image. I told him he was wrong to lie about my status and deny me my degree to begin with. He said I could have talked to him about it privately and later, but not like this, and making his coworkers now think he's useless. He stormed off after that, saying that he doesn't know if he wants to be married to someone like that. I never meant to cause a divorce, but was I truly the asshole here?
Are you asking Eric or are you asking like E-Ride? Because there may be different answers. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you. Honestly, yes.
Really? I think
Yes.
really.
Yeah. Oh. Here go. Okay. Girl power. All right. Yeah. Look, I will be the first to say that was not a very funny joke that he said. This is Mrs. Smith, the housewife.
Mhm.
People listening. Oh, by the way, I want to announce formally, Karina told me earlier, we are now over 500 on our Apple podcast.
Yeah.
So I know I just broke our chain and all that. Sorry, but thank you all. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Really. And remember, the infamous bird story comes the minute we break 1,000.
Mhm.
All right. So subscribe and like and keep the reviews. We got another 5-star review too. It's really awesome.
Oh, we did?
I don't know. You told me we did.
Oh, no, I thought you meant like...
No, on
Oh,
top. No,
yeah.
let's not get crazy. All right. Look, Mr. and Mrs. Smith was a movie,
Mhm.
right? With Brad
I
Pitt.
love that movie.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Angelina Jolie. So it's clear that was the pun he was trying, because she was like an undercover housewife, even though she was a spy,
Yeah.
right? I understand it wasn't meant to be a compliment, but it wasn't meant to be degrading. It sounded like it was just a dumb joke. It was almost like a dad joke.
I don't think
Right.
that's what he meant.
Yes, he did. That's why he
No,
called her
he
Mrs.
didn't.
Smith. Otherwise, he would have called her Mrs. Johnson.
How
or
do you know
whatever.
that's not their last name?
Okay, let's pretend that I live in the same fantasy world that you do. That's not a pun on a movie. Even so, okay, most of the other people would either think of the movie or know that that's their last name. But I just don't think anybody that would be sitting there would have taken that seriously. I feel honestly that it was an overreaction. And the reason I feel that way, and I'm being truthful now, because she made it a point to write about her degree
Mhm.
and his not acknowledging her college. That is an insecure woman. Okay. If you have to be like, you're just the housewife and like, no, you forget I have a Bachelor of Arts in, fucking philosophy or whatever, some girly major that she has. You don't need that kind of validation. Well, maybe she does, but generally speaking, I don't think, and her reaction was savage and she went out of her way to embarrass him in front of his mates.
I don't think she.
Yes, she
embarrassed
did.
him.
Yes, she
All
did. She
said was,
tried.
She's a full-time worker and she still does the house.
And you must have forgotten that, right? Lazy bones or whatever. And don't forget about my degree. Okay, please.
How does that embarrass him?
I'm just saying,
He started it.
his friends all started laughing at her response. It made him feel small or little or belittled.
No,
He-
but they didn't laugh at him. He tried to laugh it off.
Well, yeah, but of course he was trying to save face. That's what I'm saying. Right? But he clearly belittled him. Now, is he oversensitive? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I could tell you that I've had worse insults hurled at me. I let it roll off my back, right? Maybe he's oversensitive. Maybe they were already having issues,
Maybe.
and this sort of like exacerbated them. But honestly, I just think that, she was a little out of line.
Jennifer, thoughts?
So, you don't think what he said to her was demeaning?
You're just a
It
housewife?
honestly depends on how he said it.
Yeah,
the context of it.
I'm envisioning.
I didn't understand the movie reference.
Okay, but
So
a lot.
I didn't get that.
Even Karina, who's only 20 years old, knew about that movie, and it's not a brand new movie. And
No,
that
I
movie's
know
out a
that
while
movie.
ago.
I just didn't feel like he referenced the movie with that saying.
Okay, so maybe because I'm in my 50s and that movie's older, that was my first connection. Like, okay, I just
50s too, and
well, I understand, but you're not me. Okay, no, I'm saying it like I'm a movie, but no, I'm a movie buff. I have a lot. I have a lot of pop culture movie references I go back to. I remember a lot about movies. That's why I remember right away. I said, okay, this is that Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt movie. But honestly, either way, it doesn't change my opinion. I think that she kind of went off the deep end a little. She's clearly an insecure woman who needs to remind everybody that she's educated, if you want to call it. I don't know what she's got her degree in, but whatever. And honestly, what's wrong with an MRS degree these days? Just be happy. You know what the MRS degree is? That's a reference from when we were younger.
Mhm.
But, I don't know if the new generation.
So
knows
you don't
about
think she's the ass? You think she's the asshole?
100%.
Jennifer, do you think she's the asshole?
no, he started it. Yeah.
I just feel like she didn't embarrass him. All she said was, I work full time and I still do the household because he doesn't do anything. And it's true. If he doesn't help around the house, he should face it. You either know you help or you know you don't. And you take it.
She basically called him useless in front of his friends.
Well, I don't think she's the asshole.
I think that there's probably more that has happened in their past that she got so upset.
You're
Maybe.
probably,
There's
yeah.
probably a history of him demeaning her in some way.
I was going to say I agree with you, but not about that. I think there's a history of her being cunty and bitchy to this guy, and he's finally just had enough.
How do you know that he hasn't been cunty?
Because he's the one that's like, I don't know if I want to be married with a mean, nasty, bitchy person like that. So I think that his feelings have clearly been hurt more than hers. As she's like, clearly she doesn't give a shit. Except for now, she's going turning to the Reddit community for help, which, by the way, speaks volumes of
Reddit said she wasn't the asshole.
Well, like I said,
Reddit.
Reddit
Girl power.
dead wrong on that one.
When you really care about someone, you don't go out of your way to
God,
embarrass them
kind
and
of
make
here
them
it
feel
comes.
small
Here we
in front of
go.
people,
I
and
know.
that's what he did.
If you really loved me, you wouldn't. I mean, every woman goes to that. That's like the go-to thing. Come on, guys.
No, because you wouldn't demean someone you love.
I know, laughing at them and saying you basically are useless, so I have to do everything.
She had to say something because that's
She didn't have to say shit. She
He
could have.
made her feel useless.
No, she responded. I think she responded quickly and sharply. Okay, she could have just taken the hit and then talked to him after. No, I'm serious now. I know I do a lot of shtick and we joke, but
Okay.
honestly, if she would have just let it roll off her back at that moment, then when everybody's gone and she's done, that's when I would have sat down with him and I would have said, listen, I need to talk to you about this. This makes me feel a certain way. And I would really appreciate if you didn't do that. I didn't want to make a scene in front of your friends or the coworkers or whatever. But honestly, in the future, I would appreciate if you could respect me a little bit more or my accomplishments. That's how I think that should have been handled. Mostly because, and I say this not just about men, but I think this is more prevalent with men. But honestly, men get more easily embarrassed by that kind of stuff if their buddies are around and there's all the machismo going around, all that kind of stuff. So, maybe she just should have just like I said, just take her licks. And then when everybody's done, after she does the dishes, oh God, the looks I'm getting. Just kidding about the last part. But, just talk to him privately about it.
Okay, so before he said that joke, why didn't he tell her, hey, I'm going to if it is the joke and the reference to the Mr. and Mrs. Smith movie, he should have been like, hey, I'm going to make a joke.
Because he shot from the hip.
About this?
Because he shot from the hip. Because he didn't, I don't think he planned it.
Why does she have to be the one to be the bigger person and just let it roll off her back when he made the joke first? And if she just made a joke back, then what's the issue?
But I'm saying the joke back may or may not have been proportionate or maybe, look, I don't know how long they've been married, 3 years, 5 years, 10. You'd think that maybe they know each other at this point. Maybe she should have known. And that's what I think. I think she already knew how he was going to react, but she wanted that reaction out of him, or she wanted to kind of egg him on as a in retaliation to his joke.
Maybe.
By the way, they're both little kids as far as I'm concerned, but she's just more of a little kid than he is.
I think we all have sympathy for the guests at this event.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
If I were a guest, I would find this so fun.
I would instigate the shit out of
I know. I would stir so much shit for that family.
Me too.
Oh my God. I would be relentless. I would never be invited back.
All right. Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one.
Reddit's wrong. Eric's right.
If my person did that to me, I think I would have walked out and left them with dinner. I'm pretty positive. There you go.
We're taking the dinner and see what they eat. Yep.
That's just mean.
No, it's just how people take it.
No, oh, okay. All right. Touche.
Okay, next one. This is what would Eric do?
All right.
A YouTuber uses my picture in his pickup artist videos and implies that I was his girlfriend.
I love the internet.
There's a YouTuber that calls himself a pickup artist, and he has videos where he puts up a picture of me and him posing together. This is a random stranger that took a picture with me at a club years ago. Long story short, he talks about his quote-unquote ex, and he puts up a picture of me claiming that I dated him and that I'm a cheater. 1,000,000% fabricated and really embarrassing to me for obvious reasons. I've written to YouTube and they just ignored me. I've also debated getting a lawyer, but for one thing, I'm broke and I also don't know if it's going to be a legit case. I've asked him about this multiple times, but he just monitors his comments and chats and just deletes my comments, and he now blocks me. I really want it taken down, and ideally for him to clear the air and clear my name. He is 20 plus years older than me and is insanely creepy, and his channel is mostly about hating women. The first man I thought about was Andrew Tate, and then I was like, "What if it was?"
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, he is a douchebag.
But she's saying, so he's fucking creepy. When I commented on his most recent video, it got deleted, but the notification on my phone still let me read the first part of a reply chain where someone replied to me telling that there's another woman that also made a video exposing him, and she got sued for copyright and slander and got kicked off of YouTube. That comment is now deleted as well, so I can't read the full thing or find her to ask her anymore. But now I'm thinking maybe that was just him all along trying to scare me away. If I make a response video and call him out by name and show clips of his channel, would that also count as slander or a copyright problem in any way? I do have receipts to prove that, like, she has all the screenshots and everything, but I'm not sure if that would be enough evidence. I don't know how to prove that I don't know him other than just my own words. All I really want to do is have it taken down. I don't even want to make a video because it's embarrassing and I just don't want to put me in any legal trouble. What would you do?
Well, I'm going to respond to this a little out of order.
Okay.
First, technically speaking, nobody really gets sued for slander or libel. You're sued for what's called defamation.
Right.
Okay. So as she's reading that comment, her suspicion that he might have thrown that in to scare her might be right. Because unless, again, it's somebody that knows somebody else and they didn't explain it correctly, but these little nuances matter, Okay. Having said that, by the way, an absolute 100% defense to libel or slander or defamation essentially is the truth.
Yeah.
So if they have no past relationship and he can't prove they did, and they were just in a public place and he just said, "Hey, can I take a picture with you or something?" Yeah. And then he's using that to, lie. Yeah. Now, the question becomes about damages. How is this really damaging her besides the fact that she just finds it upsetting.
And embarrassing.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
so for example, if somebody said like, look, I was about to offer you this job, but I subscribed to this, this guy's YouTube channel, and he was like, you were his girl for a while, and then you did, and it cost her something or created, then I could see. But honestly, there's an old saying, like in the law, like if there's no damages, there's no case, right? So
But
what
what
do
about
you do?
defamation? Like, because he's saying, like, she's a cheater, all the
Part of defamation of character
Loss.
is showing loss and damages.
Yeah.
She's not a public figure, so the standard for her is a little bit lower than if it were a celebrity.
Yeah.
Right. But nonetheless, she still has to show that this somehow cost her something.
Yeah.
So again, if an employer's, if a potential employer is like, look, I'd love to hire you, but basically you're a whore, and this guy says that you're a skank. Okay, then she has damages, right? She lost something.
Right.
But without that, that's going to be a tough one. Now, what I would do, right? And I'm saying this as if Eric were not a lawyer.
Right.
And if some 25-year-old woman, 25 years older than me woman was basically flaunting me as her boy toy or something, I would probably make my own retaliation video. I don't know. I mean, I would not cross lines. I would be like, look, in response to, Jimmy's or whatever, we'll call him Andrew Tate, Andrews. But in response to Andrew's videos about me, I want to say 100% unequivocally, we have no prior relationship. He asked to take a selfie with me in a club years ago. I don't know where he lives. I don't know what he likes. I don't know anything else about him. I don't know why my picture is constantly being used. This person clearly has issues. And I challenge you to provide any real evidence or proof besides the one picture that I openly agreed to take in a public nightclub with a bunch of my friends around. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
And you know what? If she's in California, if you get sued for that, give me a call. Okay. I got your back on that. So that's what I would do.
Thoughts, Jennifer?
It reminds me when, how the police say that the person has to hurt you,
Right.
or in order to get a restraining order or for something to happen. This reminds me of, that it has to escalate to that point for her to get help. That's ludicrous. And I'm wondering if the law will eventually change as.
I mean, for defamation, probably not. I mean, she's not in physical danger, right? He's not stalking her. He blocks her, in fact, the opposite.
But wouldn't he kind of be like obsessed with her? Wouldn't that kind of be like an obsession? Or like maybe he's like mentally ill and really thinks it's his girlfriend?
Okay, but that's not a crime to be mentally ill. And by the way, they did take a public picture in a public place. He can post that anywhere he wants. Now, lying about having dated her or, being a girlfriend, that's different. But again, what damage is that causing her? Anybody that knows her probably knows the truth anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And if she happens to go out on a blind date and this blind date happens to watch this guy's channel and happens to bring it up, at that point you can say, no, that guy's just full of shit.
Yeah. That's
right.
it.
But I think it's more of an annoyance to her that her face is out there on the internet. Maybe she's like a very private person also.
Yeah.
I know that sometimes is a thing for people, so.
That's true. Okay. Did you have something to say? Or no?
I'm just saying. I think you would feel differently if it was someone that you cared about and that was happening to.
Well, the question was not what would Eric do if that were happening to his daughter. The question was what would Eric do
if that was happening to his daughter?
Eric would own that YouTube channel by the time he was done.
Oh, so much for waiting for something bad to happen.
That doesn't apply to me as a lawyer. I'm just saying if I were her and she's broke, she wants to know what she can do. Like, what would I do if I were in that position? But what would I do if this were me or this were like happening to my child or my daughter or you or something?
What? The law according to Eric.
Oh, well, okay. But I'm just saying like, what I would do is that guy would rue the day he put up a picture of my child. Okay. But not everybody has the ability to do that. I'm not trying to be a douchebag. I'm being serious. This is a single woman who doesn't have a lot of money. Lawyers, yes, there are lawyers out there that will take cases on at a principle, try to help somebody every now and then, but you know what? Those are far and few between. Most lawyers are not going to jump on this and start messing with this guy's First Amendment rights.
Yep.
So, okay. But I am a lawyer and it doesn't cost me anything to do something for myself or my family. So yeah, that guy would be in for an unfortunate series of events.
Okay. Next one. Am I the asshole for embarrassing my partner at a restaurant?
Yes. If it's a woman, yes. So, just kidding. Oh my God. Just joking.
It was a woman.
Okay. I was just joking about that, but I knew. No, I just think because you guys are just oversensitive. You are women.
Guys. You people.
Y'all. Okay, honestly, women are oversensitive. Men like to joke. We like to banter.
Men are more sensitive than women. I would like to argue.
I agree with that.
Of course, you guys. Of course, you do.
You all can dish it out, but you don't take it very well.
All right.
Oh, you didn't have to say all of that.
Lucky I have a sore throat today. All right, go ahead. Let's hear this. Right.
I was having dinner with my partner. We were at the Olive Garden.
Why did she say partner? I'm sorry. I hate that. Why? Because
didn't even make it to the
I can't help it. I know these things trigger me. Can't people just say boyfriend, husband, friend? They use the word partner because it's become a trendy word. This is my partner. You're right. Significant other's been around forever, though. Yeah. Right? Or my better half, or whatever. But like this, my partner Billy, and my partner Jimmy, and like, come on, just fucking. You can say husband, wife, what a boyfriend. Like, okay, sorry, these little things, you know me, they trigger me. Go ahead. All right.
So they were at the Olive Garden. Of
course they were.
And they were there for the endless soup and salad.
Of course they were. This just gets better and better. What?
We won't judge their food choices.
No, I just want to know what could already be more embarrassing than that. Right? I mean, could you even embarrass someone who's already at the Olive Garden just for the all-you-can-eat soup and breadsticks?
It depends.
Like, they're already embarrassed. Like, all right, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Wait, for our listeners in Thailand, the UK, and Norway, Olive Garden is a shitty knockoff Italian restaurant. It's not very good. It's almost like it's like fast food Italian in a sense. It's not like those fucked up pizza slices you get at the airports, but it's like not a very high-end Italian, very basic, typical pasta dishes. Yeah. But it's not expensive, and they do have unlimited salad and breadsticks and soup that people like clamor after. But not that it's delicious or anything. It's a good deal, right? But okay, go ahead. I just felt it important to say.
Okay. I'm eating my soup and I feel something weird at the back of my throat. As I'm pulling out a piece of what ends up being aluminum foil, I end up gagging, and when I get a hold of it, I end up vomiting on the table.
Sorry. This could be my wife of 80 years. And if that happened to me, I would leave the bitch there today. I could not. I can't. You don't understand.
He would.
I throw up when I see throw up, so I probably
I know. That's what I'm saying.
I would be a chain reaction.
Yes, it's a chain. All of us are throwing up.
I would call 911, whatever. I would follow her in the ambulance in my own car. But I would have to leave that area immediately. I'm sorry. Just saying. Okay, but go ahead.
The waiter rushes over and I apologize profusely. I tell them that I almost swallowed this aluminum foil and they say they're going to go get the manager. The manager comes over, apologizes, and says that she can't believe that a piece fell into the soup and offered to take the entree off the bill.
That's it?
Yeah.
That's all she offered?
My boyfriend is fuming, telling me that I can tell, and it's making it worse when the table next to us asked the managers very loudly what the manager was going to do since some people, me, can't handle their alcohol and ruin their appetite. I wanted to crawl under the table. My boyfriend hurries to pay and leads me out to the car. I'm crying in the car, and my boyfriend tells me that I probably did vomit because I was drinking. I had 1 glass of Moscato, but I do have gastroparesis. I'm not sure what that is. But I'm supposed to have a special diet, and I've been doing really well, so I decided that I was okay to eat a heavy soup and a glass of wine. While I feel like it was just the gagging from the aluminum foil, that it could have been my condition that also contributed to the problem.
You think?
I feel bad, too, because the manager wouldn't even let me clean up the mess. My partner's still very upset, and he's yelled at me that now we also look poor because they had to take off the entree off the bill, and that maybe they thought that we were doing this just to not pay.
That might be the dumbest thing ever so far. Okay, I mean, there's a lot to unpack with this, but that's not a very smart partner, quote unquote, air quote, partner.
Yep. He keeps calling me the asshole and threatening to leave because he says he doesn't understand how I could be so disgusting to throw up on the table. Am I the asshole here?
Oh, leave that.
I am going to avoid
your partner.
I am going to avoid doing shtick here and say that no, she is not the asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a funny one, and in my mind, I can envision this poor, lady throwing up all over the Olive Garden, all the soup and everywhere, all over the table. And as I say that,
Let's not describe it.
Yeah, I know I'm starting to freak myself out. But look, the way that's written sounds like a clear overreaction on the male partner's part.
You just said you'd leave to them.
Yeah, but I wouldn't bitch at her.
That's true. Yeah,
I wouldn't feel offended.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care if Olive Garden somehow thought I was broke.
Yeah.
By the way, 90% of people that eat at Olive Garden are fucking broke. I mean, that's okay. That's the gimmick, right? I mean, that's Olive Garden is.
Cheap food.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is not like, El Toscano, Italian, whatever, ristorante, whatever they, no. So, it just, I definitely think, look, I would have overreacted also if my air quotes partner just like fucking blew chunks all over the like dinner table in front of us. But honestly, especially if she had a medical issue.
Yeah.
Now, is it responsible or was it irresponsible of her to decide on her own she can handle a heavy soup, like some kind of, maybe it's a chowder or Mediterranean, a lot of pasta in it?
You think it messed
I don't
it up?
know.
I feel
honestly,
like
I don't
it was
know.
the aluminum foil. Like, I feel like taking something out of your throat will always like make you like gag. So maybe I really feel like that was it that made her throw up.
The taste of metal also does make people throw up.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it was like in her throat already. So it's like when she's pulling it out, I feel like it had to have been the aluminum foil because she was fine before that. She should have been fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, but to answer the question, no, she's not the asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer in this case is right that if her partner has that kind of reaction, well, let me put it like this. I understand the reaction initially. That's a rough thing to have to sit through.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was just as hard on her, but but if after they're in the car, right, and they're out of there and this is over, if he's still like that upset, then yeah, he may have other issues.
What do you think about the people who were sitting next to them?
They're morons. They mind their fucking business.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Your partner or the person you're with should have your back.
Yeah.
It just, I can imagine it was absolutely mortifying for her. And even if it was the food, people make mistakes.
Yeah.
She didn't commit a crime.
Mm-hmm.
She just, something upset her stomach and she threw up. And, being human isn't always pretty.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
I think the boyfriend should have asked for their whole meal to be comped. I feel like he was worried about the wrong thing. Like, you guys almost killed her. She almost swallowed some aluminum foil.
You should have been worried about her,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
what people were thinking about her.
See, I can't even disagree. As much as I want to have like fun with this, no, I'm serious.
Had his whole meal comped.
No, I'm just saying. As much as I could do shtick about this for an hour, but honestly, yeah, Jen's right. That's really, really douchey on his part.
Mm-hmm.
And I whether it was because of a medical condition, whether it's this tinfoil, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And by the way, asking for the full meal comp would just be at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because if legitimately there was a toxic substance like tinfoil that went into their soup, could have scratched her intestines, her trachea, caused her to throw up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I if it were me and that were my girl and I were there, I would be representing her now against Olive Garden.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's a personal injury.
You
case.
would own Olive Garden.
No, it's the case. Well, let me tell you. First, the case is. I know. Yeah. The case probably isn't valued that high. Yeah. But now let me tell you, if her throwing up caused stomach acid to damage her tonsils or her trachea, and she needed a procedure and had follow-up visits and had to take medication, then yeah, that case starts to become more valuable. But it's not completely valueless, just by causing her to vomit based on a foreign substance in her soup. Mm-hmm. Nobody orders soup expecting a hearty side of tinfoil. So, no, she's not the asshole. He definitely is. As much as I hate to admit it, but yes, he is the asshole on that one.
We all agree.
Oh, fuck Reddit. I don't care what Reddit says.
Okay, next one is, what would Eric do? Casino patron has been harassing and embarrassing me at work.
Well, I know a thing or two about casinos and gambling and poker. So, okay, go ahead. All right. Just pick this one for me. All right.
Yes. Hello. I've hit a bump in the road and
Hello.
I could use some.
I mean, who starts a fucking Reddit post? I'm just saying, seriously. Who starts a Reddit post? Hello. Are you fucking kidding me?
That got me so off guard.
You just start writing, but is she waiting for people or like hello her back? All right, go ahead. Okay.
Okay. Well, they need some advice. I work as a poker dealer and I have been for several years. I have pretty thick skin, but my line of work depends on it. However, there is a single customer that can get to me every single fucking time. I'm the type of person that keeps my head down when I deal. I avoid initiating small talk as much as I can. I do a great job. My bosses love me and my coworkers are all friendly towards me. That being said, I don't understand why this one patron can get away with all the things he says. Not only to me, not only to my coworkers, but also to my supervisors. This person walks around thinking he wrote the rules, even though the rules are somewhat fluid. constantly changing. He seems to love tormenting people. In the middle of a hand, he'll stop the game, berate and embarrass me in front of the other 8 guests. He also has a list of dealers he won't tip, and he brags about it to other patrons. I mention this because it is detrimental to my pay. As a tipped employee, I feel like it is unfair for a single patron to influence my pay negatively so much. Let me remind you that I am not the only one he is targeting with his behaviors. I'm just the one who actively is trying to do something about that. This has been going on for years, and I don't want to put up with it anymore. I perform great at my job, and I don't feel I or my coworkers should have to deal with such a toxic person. I think the reason he gets away with it is because the poker community is relatively tight. That being said, my bosses are more than lenient on this sort of behavior. I can't stop this guy from doing what he does, and I feel powerless. I've informed my immediate supervisor, who has listened to me. He said he'd write an email to his supervisors to have them discuss how they should handle the situation. My question is, if my boss decided not to take action, can I do anything to remedy the situation?
So what would Eric do? Okay, first, this is going to be a very unpopular first part, but bear with me. Okay, especially if she works in California, in the California card rooms, because we have card rooms all up and down the state, not just the Indian reservation casinos either, but you have licensed card rooms that only play poker or only offer poker, or they have what are called California table games, but the casino itself is not the bank. There's like a private company or person or whatever, right? We can I could spend hours explaining all the intricacies of that, but the first thing that is important to note is that tipping is not mandatory.
Right.
I hate to say it like that. Now, I can tell you as an avid poker player, I tip something every hand I win, even if I'm just winning what's like the blinds only.
Right.
I always do. I just do. I just think it's good etiquette.
Yeah.
I don't overdo it. I don't show off with it. I don't try to, I don't make a scene. So if I'm playing in a regular like 20-40 limit hold'em game or whatever, and I win a nice size pot, I'll throw a $5 chip or a $3, couple bucks, whatever. Every hand I win. Hands that are tiny, like there's one raise, they fold, I take down, it's a small pot. I'll still tip $1 or $2 every hand. But not everybody does that, and not everybody has to. Yes, I get that for the most part, card dealers, poker dealers don't make a lot hourly. And yes, the bulk of their income is also tip dependent. It's interesting if she said, I don't remember if she used the word pooled, like a tip pool. Because that's become a much more common way to do it, because higher stakes tables typically tip more than lower stakes tables.
I don't think he said that.
Okay. So I'm assuming
all she was saying was that he has a list of people he doesn't tip.
Okay. But my point is this. If she participates in the pool, right, and all of the tips are put into one big kitty and then kind of divided equally, then his tipping or not tipping doesn't have that big of an impact on her. It really doesn't. And it really should be that way because, again, you can play $2, $4 limit hold'em, and the tips will be $1 per win at best. But if you're playing, 40-80 limit hold'em, where your buy-in is $1,000 minimum, the tips are $10, $20, at a time. So I'm guessing so if it's part of this like pooled tip thing, because otherwise people are going to always compete for the higher tables, and you get favoritism that way. So that's what I would say about that. The fact that he openly brags, I don't tip certain dealers or whatever, he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
It's a player that doesn't understand poker etiquette. You can talk to the other players, but don't do it in the middle of a hand. Don't do it in the middle of a hand you're in.
And how he'll stop it.
You're right. Don't stop the action. Don't delay the game. I mean, there's a lot of what I'll call unwritten rules about poker that, right? So when she says the rules are fluid or constantly changing, that's not exactly true. Poker is poker. Right. Most casinos have established sets of rules, and then they have like outcomes based on certain situations. So like if something happens, this card was accidentally turned up. Okay. Well, the card is still live, or you put it in the muck, you get a new card, whatever. They have like their set of rules, and they're not always uniform every casino you go to. But if you're a regular player, which sounds like this guy is, since he seems to know everybody and all that, okay, great. I don't particularly care for the posts where they start off like praising how good they are.
Yeah.
I'm the great. I'm really good. And I do. Everybody thinks they're fine. Most people don't openly say I'm a shit employee. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And honestly, it doesn't change the analysis. Like she could be the grungiest, nastiest, hairiest dealer there is.
He's still an asshole.
Right? Yeah, he is. And it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I think. She's not the asshole. And what would I do? I don't think there's anything I could do.
Yeah.
Right. If I need the job, I would just grin and bear it. Maybe I would try to change shifts
Yeah.
right? And play the hours that he's not always there. And if that's plausible for her, especially if it's a pool tip system, because that means it really wouldn't change my income. Or, and again, if this is in California, you can't like whip a dead cat around without hitting a card room. She can probably find a job dealing anywhere.
Yeah.
Especially if she has experience. That's not, I don't think it's gonna be hard for her to find a replacement work, to get away from that guy. So that's probably what I would do. I would either change shifts. I would deal with it. Like I would just accept it, change shifts, or try to find a new place to deal. And by the way, if she really is a good dealer and she's on time, all the time, and she knows the games, she doesn't misdeal, and she calls hands correctly, they're not going to want to lose her.
No.
And trust me when I tell you, the one patron, like what the casino takes in what's called rake from one player is meaningless in their overall income. It will not change a thing. Really, it won't. Because they take a small amount out of each pot.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so the casino rake is a volume game. It's not a per table. It's because you've got 80 tables running. And if you only take $2 per hand and you can play 20 hands an hour, that's $40 an hour per table times 80 tables. That's how the casino makes big money.
Yeah.
It's not, because the one player and the rake they get from his one hand or the one hand out of the rotation. So yeah, nothing to really worry about there.
Jen?
I'm thinking that as a dealer, no matter what casino you go to, there's going to be some obnoxious asshole that is going to make your life a living hell.
Yeah.
There's just always one.
Just has to live with it, I guess. Yeah. So, all right, next one. You have to sneeze, but it went away.
Good. Because you're sitting right across from me, and that would be a little, not nice.
Sneeze that way.
Like, you just like,
if I sneeze, I'd come that way. When you feel like the tickle in your nose, and I'm like, ooh.
At this point, our audience already knows that I'm not big on germs. Imagine, oh my God. I would just
I don't
say,
even like sneezing out loud.
If you want to have like a live action, what would Eric do? Like, just watch, fucking sneeze on me and roll the camera and watch what happens.
I don't even like when people sneeze around me. I don't like this. I have like a very like.
Yeah, I believe that about you. I buy that.
No, my sense of smell is very like
that's
strong.
not what it is. You just don't want people to
smell sneezes.
Okay.
Yeah, they smell so disgusting.
Okay.
Like,
you know what? That's true for some people, but it's not. You're not smelling a sneeze. You're smelling shitty breath.
Is that what it is?
Yes. And when they sneeze out, and I can say this honestly because, and I'm going to out myself a little bit, but I used to be a very heavy cigarette smoker years ago, but I already quit. It's been over 7 years now. Almost 7 years. Yeah. 7.5, 6.5, almost 7. Anyway. But if I would sneeze with my mouth open, or if I like one kind of escape, yeah, it would smell much worse, I think, than sneezing people that sneeze that weren't smokers, because my breath was always kind of shitty.
Maybe.
I think that's more what it is. I don't think you're smelling the sneeze. I think you're smelling somebody's stank breath.
I don't know, because I think it's with every sneeze.
Maybe maybe your superpower is like super sensitive smell.
No, I can smell I can smell a lot of things. I'm like, when people are like, how do you smell that? I'm like, I have that.
I smell the bullshit right now.
Okay.
Okay, just kidding. Just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, next one's am I the asshole one? Am I the asshole for embarrassing my sister-in-law after she expected me to pay for her and her friend's bill?
Okay, huh.
So I, 25 female, went out for dinner for my sister-in-law, 28 female's bachelorette party this past weekend. Between my sister-in-law and my husband, 26 male, sister-in-law has always been the golden child of the family. Growing up, my in-laws coddled her and gave her everything that she wanted, while my husband always got the shitty end of the stick. My in-laws would always give him a hard time about this and would say that he needed to be more like his sister. Well, fast forward to today. Both my husband and I went to top schools, got our degrees, and currently have a very well-paying jobs in tech. I'm not trying to sound braggy.
But you are. Go ahead. Douchey too.
This is just for context. But we live in a very, 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 very comfortable life.
Is she gonna bitch that she had to pay for someone?
No, hold on. No.
Okay. I mean, come on now. All right, go. This is already upsetting me. But go ahead.
Sister-in-law still currently lives at home with my in-laws, where they pay all of her bills. She had my niece, 4 female, with her ex, and is currently on marriage number 2. This past weekend, I was invited to this fancy upscale restaurant in my city for my sister-in-law's bachelorette party. She just wanted to do a nice dinner. There were 8 of us in total. At the end of the dinner, the bill comes out and the waiter hands it to me. I'm sitting there confused for a second until sister-in-law speaks up and all she says is, my parents and I were talking and we were thinking that you and my brother can handle the bill for this as a wedding gift, since you're not financially contributing to my wedding at all. I stared at her in shock for a moment and then was like, You didn't think to bring this up to me beforehand? She started going off about how we're so well off and what's the big deal, and she's sure her brother wouldn't have an issue with it. I asked her why her fiance doesn't foot the bill or my in-laws, and where in her right mind she thinks it's okay to spring this on me. Well, as expected, my mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and even some of my cousins and aunts on my husband's side have been absolutely furious with me and are expecting me to apologize for the comments. They even threatened to sue me for the money since I made a fool of their little girl. I told them over my dead body. My husband is 100% on my side, and we are debating not going to the wedding. I was talking to my mom, and she thinks I took it a little too far with the comments, and I should just apologize to keep the peace. Am I the asshole here?
Honestly, I don't even know if I want to comment on this. I just think this is stupid. I'm serious. Like, does somebody really need to go to Reddit for validation? I thought she's really well off and they're very comfortable and so well educated, but I guess they're just a bunch of immature, insecure, douches.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. I mean, now I'm not thinking about going to the wedding or like, give me a fucking break. Seriously, that's so stupid. And you know what I would do if the waiter did that and just like slid the check over? If you're asking what would Eric do in this case, honestly, I would just pay it and move on. Like, I wouldn't make a scene. Right. And I honestly, and the last thing I would do is try to make somebody feel kind of bad about it one way or another. But you have to know me well enough to understand that things like that, there's really to me, there is no, I don't need to have all that drama. I don't give a shit, honestly. Like it's just one meal. I just pay the check and move on. I don't care. Plus, I also feel like a little egotistical in the sense that I'd embarrass myself. Right. If it'd be like, oh, why are you giving this to me? Can we just,
she said it was like 1,000, I think, for the bill.
Oh,
yeah. That's what I said.
That changes things.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
It was going to be a large party.
But I mean,
restaurant. Yeah,
I know, but I'm just saying maybe it's like $400.
No, it was over. She said it was a little over 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So now, but it doesn't necessarily change my analogy. It only changes to the extent is would $1,000 check like hurt me, right? In other words, again, I don't want to sound like an asshole. But if I could easily afford the $1,000 and I'm that comfortable and that well educated and with that good of a job or whatever, like she has, I'd still probably do it. I'd bitch about it on the way home and I'd be like, okay, we're never doing that again. And that's kind of bullshit. And somebody should have stepped in and offered. Yeah. But if nobody does, I'm not going to be the one that makes that scene. But again, that's more unique about me. It doesn't mean that that's right.
Yeah.
It's just not something I would, so.
Jen, thoughts?
So you're saying it's better to pay the bill and just like kind of seethe in your anger for the rest of your life?
I don't know that I would be angry that long. Again, if
that's because you're not a woman.
Okay. Well, okay. Look, I can't help it that you guys are more oversensitive than I am. Okay, seriously, I can't help that. But having said all that, honestly, yeah, I would be a little miffed. Okay, sorry, we had a little glitch. So, I mean, again, it doesn't really change how I would look at it. Again, I would be more offended that nobody in that large party was like, yo, don't stick Eric with that whole bill. But if Eric were, so highly educated and so, in demand at my job and have such a great, comfy life, I bet people would expect that.
Yeah.
So, you kind of open yourself up to that kind of expectation, especially if they openly brag. And I can only imagine they do, because if they had no compunction whatsoever about bragging them, about themselves all over Reddit, I'm sure they kind of do that anyway. So again, I would just, I take the hit, but I'd be unhappy about it.
I had seen a story that was almost like that, but instead, it was just like the sister, every time she went out to eat with her brother and then the wife, she would casually forget her wallet so she wouldn't have to pay. And I guess in one of them, the lady like brought her wallet. She saw that she left it at home and she brought it. And when it was time to pay, she was like, oh my God, I forgot my wallet again. And she goes, oh, no worries. I got it. I brought it for you. I saw that you left it. Here you go. And I saw another one. Yeah, she had enough. So I feel like that would be a little bit worse than just saying, hey, I'm not going to pay the bill.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't talk to her ahead of time.
Yeah,
I think that's okay? The really aggravating part. They should have been honest, like, we can't afford this. Are you willing to help out? If you don't just bring something like that on someone.
Yeah. So I don't think she's the asshole. So
yeah, I agree.
All right.
But I don't really think she was bragging in the beginning. It seemed like she was just explaining the story. Maybe why they expected her to pick up the check.
All right. Next one. This was a what would Eric do? Fired in an embarrassing way. Is this legal? Today I walked into work and I was given a sheet of paper with all of the mistakes listed on it on why I was fired from a serving job. This was at the end of my third shift, and there were some inaccuracies. One, for example, was not showing up for training, but I was never scheduled for training. Another one was showing up late for work, but I had already checked in with my manager that day to see if I could be late, and he said it was fine. I was told to sign it by the manager, who also had signed it. Before I could do that, he called in the bartender, the head chef, and the waitress. He gave them all the same piece of paper and read it out loud, and then had me dismissed. It was completely embarrassing. We work in a very small town, and this definitely is going to affect my reputation, plus very demoralizing. Was he legally right to do that, or are there any actions I can take against him?
That's a harder question because I don't know what state they're in.
Yeah, I'm not sure. She didn't say.
So I don't know. I mean, it sounds like a douchey thing to do, and
Yeah.
to kind of like put her business out there or whatever.
What would
Like,
Eric do?
I mean, Eric would probably spit at the guy or whatever. Like as I left, I'd probably make a scene so like as to save face and my reputation.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this job. I don't need you or this one horse town or whatever. But maybe they really do need the job.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a small enough town and word's going to get out, maybe the best thing for her to do is like write an apology letter.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that, just, hey, sorry this happened. I really enjoyed my time with you. Hopefully the door stays open for future things. And that way she can maybe use them as a reference, or at least she can say, no, I this is a misunderstanding. I thought I had the approval.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently this was an issue. So,
Okay. Jen, thoughts?
This is why I could never live in a small town. I just the idea of everyone knowing your business.
Yeah,
that's hellish to me.
I know.
Yeah, I have a lot of sympathy for this person.
I know. That's so embarrassing, though. I feel like having everyone from your job come in and just listen to why you're being fired, and they're like, "Okay, you can go now." I feel like that's just
horrible.
Yeah.
It just sounds humiliating.
Yeah.
And the person obviously feels like they can't get away from it.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just
it's
stuck with them.
Yeah. It's a small town, so it's gonna get out. So I feel bad for them. All right, last one. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Am I the asshole for embarrassing my father-in-law after I repeatedly asked him to explain his joke to me?
That's funny.
I know.
Right.
I, 27 female, used to be an escort from ages 18 to 25. I'm not proud of it, but I also don't give a fuck because I did what I had to do to keep studying and had a roof over my head. And that's how I met my now fiance, though he was never my client.
Okay, glad she clarified that. Okay.
We began to date when I was 25, and 3 or 4 months after that, his brother-in-law tried to expose me. I have no idea how he found out, and there's no way my fiance was the one who told him that because he didn't even know. So thus, we had to come clean in front of his whole family. Yes, I did that. Yes, he knows. Yes, he doesn't care. It was 2 years ago at that time, and we got over it. After that, there was a span of 3 to 4 months in where my mother-in-law and some of my fiance's aunts and cousins would police their husband when I was around. It was really weird because the dudes were like 40 to 60 years old, and I wasn't that desperate. So my fiance shut their bullshit.
Well, what does she think the average age of the customers are at that point? I'm like,
Exactly.
51-year-old Jewish lawyers don't use escort.
Okay.
So I put that out there now.
Okay. My fiance shut their bullshit down, and even when his family still gives me the side eye from time to time, we thought it was behind us. He proposed last year, and 5 months ago, we found out that I was pregnant. We were really happy about it, and we told his family as soon as we knew. His sisters and young brother were really happy for us, but his mom took me aside and begged me to just be honest with her and asked if it was really my fiance's child. I was taken aback, but I just rolled my eyes and said, yes. She gave me some shitty speech about how she only wanted to make sure and that she was just happy to be a grandmother. Well, last weekend, we were at his parents with his family and some of his friends, and we were talking about the name and how the child might look. And father-in-law said that he and his children have a birthmark in the inner thigh and that even his grandchildren got them. So our baby might too. And then he said, but how can we know who he got it from? It may be as well be from me, my boy, or my brothers. And he and his brothers began to laugh. My fiance got mad, and before he could say anything, you don't get the joke?
I feel so stupid right now about what I missed.
She's insinuating that
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Because she was a whore.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand now. Okay, sorry.
Well, him and his brothers began to laugh. My fiance got mad, and before he could say anything, I said, I don't get it. And my father-in-law was like, yeah, because it runs in the family. And I said again, I don't get it. Why would he get it from you? Then he began to get nervous and said, because, it's just a joke. And I said, but I don't get it. And you all laughed. Explain it to me, please. It got to the point that some of his friends said, hey, it's not even funny. So he excused himself and left. Later, my fiance's brother-in-law came to me and said that I was wrong for embarrassing him like that in his own house, and that I knew that the joke was about, and because of that my past, I shouldn't be surprised. Now they are demanding that I apologize to my father-in-law. I don't feel like I have done anything wrong, but was I the asshole here?
Hell no.
Not only wasn't she the asshole, I almost think that her trying to get them to explain the joke was on purpose, and that's fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
All right, I'm saying, like, kudos to her. She may be a whore, but she's not right. But she's no dumb whore, right? Because that was a pretty.
Exactly.
That was intellectual
she
warfare
stood on
right
her
there.
ground too. She was like, "No, I don't get it." Like,
Good, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I know.
That is intellectual. Good for her.
I know.
Doesn't excuse the fact that she's been, she's like a doorknob, right? Everybody had a turn, whatever. You never heard that?
I've heard it.
Okay, but well, I should say everybody had a turn for a price.
This family sounds horrible.
All of them, the mom, the brother-in-law.
I just want to make sure the mom says to her.
I know. It's terrible, but I thought it was funny, and I was like, he tried to embarrass her, and instead he ended up being embarrassed.
I think that actually the joke probably wasn't as funny, but now I'm going to be serious. Okay, sometimes when people try to make amends or smooth things over, they try to use humor. They make it like it's no big deal now. We're just laughing about it. I don't know that that's the case here, but I'm saying sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. So I've had situations where I've been embarrassed and then I'll bring it up like, okay, you want a true story? It's very, very, very benign, but it's true. About 3 weeks ago, I was at my weekly poker game. Okay. And for whatever reason, don't judge us, because this is like the bulk of us are all, older. Very, very few of the players know how to use apps for ordering food or whatever. So they left it up to me. Okay. So we just wanted pizzas. So we ordered a couple of pizzas. I honestly don't know what happened. I put in the orders and all of them came with like not only extra cheese, but it was like caked on. Cheese slid everywhere in all the boxes. And this was not cheap. This was like Mulberry Street pizza, like $35 each pie plus toppings. Like it was like a $200 dinner, like with the 3 pizzas and the toppings and delivery fee and all that. I got so much shit for the cheesiness of the pizzas. They were relentless. And I started to get really like annoyed. Yeah. What I did is instead I started embracing the joke. I would send to my WhatsApp poker group pictures of like little kids with like cheese on their head, stuff like that. Just, and I made a joke out of it. Yeah. And by the way, they still make jokes, but it's not, now it's like, okay.
Well, if you embrace it, can't no one make fun of you anymore.
Now, it's not the same thing as her saying, listen, guys, but I'm saying the principle of it, right? Yeah. Her doing that, right? So what I'm saying is the dad may have done something like that to just sort of like clear the air, like, okay, we don't care. This is kind of funny. Could be my kid, could be his kid. Ha 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 ha. Right? Yes, I get that it's not truly funny. Yeah. I understand that there is a degree of, inappropriate humor with that. I understand. And maybe the dad really is just older and not quite in touch and whatever. He thought he was being funny. Maybe he thought he was just, breaking the tension. And I'm trying to like, give him the benefit of the doubt. But her response, if it was legit on accident, then she's dumb. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I mean, okay. If truly she kind of got it, but she was just going to like extract a small pound of flesh out of them and that family, good for her.
Yeah. Well, I think he did mean it like as like a joke like that. Cause remember, he was laughing about it with his friends when he first said it. Like, it wasn't like, like we're smooth it over. Like, he was like, no, like, he meant it. I feel like in that way. But
yeah, but it's a really sensitive topic. It's a little different than putting a lot of cheese on a pizza.
I know.
And she was, they hit a nerve. And for what you told me about what the mom said to her, I think it was a little bit more than
it's
just
been long
joking
for them.
Yeah.
So, so do you think she's the asshole here?
No.
Jen?
Oh, not at all.
No, again, I think it's actually, I thought it was funny. And I think her response was
very quick-witted.
Yeah, it is. And I really don't believe it was on accident. Honestly, the way she wrote that, and like by the 4th or 5th time, I don't, even the dumbest of whores put that together. Okay. So let's just, I'm sorry. I know. I like doing the Sopranos, the whore, whatever. Sorry.
All right. So that's all we have for today.
But hold on, we have a little bit of exciting news. So 2 things happened during the course of our podcast.
Did we hit 5,000?
No. I'm going to get to that. First, while we were doing this whole thing, I did download the Insomnia Cookies app.
Okay.
And I did put in an order, and I did notice they have a few new ones.
Okay.
They have a Reese's peanut butter cup cookie now.
Exciting
chocolate
for you
peanut butter
guys.
cookie. They have a s'mores cookie.
Ooh.
Right. I also got that, and a salted caramel cookie. I got that.
Oh.
And I got you guys that disgusting red velvet that you like. I don't know how, but you do.
We love red velvet.
I don't know
Will
why.
not stand for
So
velvet.
that's that. Number two, this is also kind of exciting. Yesterday, Karina came up with a great idea to do a TikTok video based on these trends. And we got close to 4,500 views in less than 24 hours. It's really kind of exciting because we just do this kind of stuff for fun, you know? So it's really appreciated. We've got over 500 people listening now, across the globe. We've gotten, I think, 3 5-star reviews, or 5-star ratings. I think 3, which is really awesome. So we appreciate that everybody tunes in every week. We're going to continue to try to put out content that's kind of funny and maybe a little provocative. And
5
5-star reviews, 55.5, like 5 stars.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. And we will talk about some more serious topics, but we're going to continue to try to, keep, a humorous edge to them. One of the topics that we talked about in the coming weeks is we're going to talk about disaster Valentine stories and, the, what am I, the asshole Valentine's Day editions. We are going to talk about like some of the world's like dumbest bankrupt people, like celebrities or superstars that went bankrupt. We can name a few, like Angie Everhart, Jamie Gold, the World Series of Poker winner, main event winner, 50 Cent, Death Row Records. Yeah. Right. List goes on and on. So we'll have a few fun topics too that are more serious. But again, I just want to say openly and publicly first, I really want to appreciate and thank and appreciate Karina. All the time she puts into this. Guys, she sets it up. She finds the topics. She edits them. She edits the podcast. She makes sure it's posted. It's great. I also want to give thanks and kudos to Jennifer. She has definitely added an insightful, enjoyable, entertaining voice to our podcast. I'm not just saying that because I know I'll be in trouble for the things I said earlier on our podcast. I genuinely mean it. I'm being sincere. Okay?
We appreciate you too, Cheese Man.
We do.
Do you know what they called me? So they called me Cheese Dick.
Cheesy.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yes, because my poker nickname is Easy. Yeah, they call me. Yes, they call me Easy. I'm gonna send that to the group.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's good. But I forgot what I was gonna say after that. But okay. They call me Cheese Whiz, Dick Cheese, Cheese Man, and they didn't stop. It was fucking constant. And if I hadn't embraced it, I would have thrown the table over at some point. I was getting so annoyed.
You said to embrace it.
That's it. That's just like that other.
You make fun of yourself. Fuck it.
You know what?
Do you know who Blueface is, the rapper?
No.
No.
Why would I possibly know that?
I don't know. Well, he has a baby mama, and her name's Jaden Alexis.
Let me ask you a serious question. How many rappers do you think don't have baby mamas?
Oh no.
So like when you say he has a baby mama, that could still be anybody.
Okay. Well, she looks like Stewie from Family Guy, right?
Who?
She looks like Stewie. Yeah.
She looks like
Stewie. And people started calling her Stewie, but she's embraced it. Even like she put out like a diss track about like Blueface, and she like called herself Stewie. And I heard her talk on the podcast, and she was like, "Well, like everyone was calling me Stewie, so I just called myself Stewie because it's like if I make fun of myself, you really can't get at me." Like
good for her.
Yeah, and she like embraced it. So yeah.
Is there a picture of me on the podcast cover?
No.
Okay.
You want me to put a picture?
No, I don't. But the only thing I'm saying is there was a judge years ago that used to like she was like very bantery and I got along with her, but she'd like say I look like Fred Flintstone.
Yeah. We done. Remember we did that little conversion.
Yeah, right. That's right. The TikTok thing. Yeah, that's where I got that from.
Yeah.
Fred Flintstone.
Everyone loves Stewie, but as a woman, you don't want to be called Stewie.
I'm saying, right. You as a professional, right? That's not the moniker I want, but nonetheless. But anyway,
I had a tie.
I know, and a fucking pet dinosaur.
Who wouldn't want that?
Who wouldn't want a pet?
See, great minds think alike.
Yeah, I'm gonna. We can reconvene this topic next time.
Okay.
All right, with the pet dinosaur nonsense. But let me just say again, I really, really appreciate all the listeners, everybody out there. I mean, different countries now. We break 500. This was
in
really
3 days. We went from 300 to 500 listeners.
It's awesome. This is a labor of love for us. This is just our way of kind of having fun and blowing off some steam. And interacting with audience members sometimes. So appreciate you all, and we'll keep putting out content as long as you guys are listening.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Remember to follow our show on whatever you're streaming it on, and give us a follow on all our social medias. You can find us on the Bensama Confirm on Instagram, Bensama Confirm on Twitter and TikTok, and our website's eblawfirm.us, and you can email us at info@eblawfirm.us. Also, if you guys want us to do any specific topics, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm the one who checks it every day. So, all right. Bye, guys.
Fight on.
Fight on. God. Bye. Okay.